Hello everybody and welcome to a beginner's guide to Photoshop. In this episode we'll be looking at layer masks. Layer masks are a very powerful tool within Photoshop that allows you to hide or reveal the contents of a layer non-destructively, which is very important as you do not want to ever be working destructively within Photoshop. Let's look into layer masks a little bit further. Okay, there are two types of layer mask. There is a reveal layer mask and a hide all layer mask. Basically, the principle of layer masks is this. Anything that is white on a layer mask will be visible. Anything that's black on a layer mask will be hidden. Let's have a look at a practical example here. Here I have a photo of this Lamborghini, but I think the sky is a bit, I don't know, boring. So I want to add some clouds. Now, referring back to the beginning of the video, I could easily do this by thinking, oh okay, all I need to do is go and get the eraser tool, make that a little bit bigger here, and just simply erase away the bits of the cloud that I don't need, like so. However, doing it like this is working destructively, and you have to be very careful because using an eraser tool like this and destructive editing, once you've deleted these pixels, they're gone. They're gone forever. So if you were to save the file and then come back to it and think, oh no, I don't like how I've cut this out, sorry, but they're gone. That's the issue with destructive editing. So let's go back a step. So layer masks are a way of doing this, the merging of these two layers, non-destructively. To add a layer mask, we go up to Layer, Layer Mask, and then we can have two options. We can either have a reveal all layer mask, which will be white, or a hide all layer mask that will be black. And I think for this instance we'll go for a hide all layer mask. So there we go. We have a layer mask there that's completely black and the sky has gone. Now to reveal back the picture of the clouds, all we need to do is go to our brush tool, and on our brush tool, making sure our foreground colour is white, simply select the layer mask and then we'll paint. And there we go, the clouds come back through. Now obviously this is a very, very rough way of doing it, just for demonstration purposes, but as you can see, if we disable the layer mask by holding shift and clicking on the layer mask, the actual layer of the clouds has not been affected at all. We've done no destructive editing to this layer of the clouds. We've only affected the layer mask. Like I said, we can turn the layer mask on and off, and you can see that although it's rough, we have transformed the sky with some clouds non-destructively. Now let's just quickly delete this layer mask. The quicker way of adding the layer masks is down here. There's an icon down the bottom here called Add Layer Mask. If you click on it, by default you'll receive a Reveal All layer mask. However, if you wanted to apply a Hide All layer mask, all you need to do is hold Alt. This is Alt on a Mac, by the way. If you hit Alt and then hold and then click the Add Layer Mask button, you'll get a Hide All layer mask. And then you can go and paint and do whatever you need to do. The good thing about layer masks is it's not just limited to using the brush tool. You can use any tool that you like as long as you're working on the layer mask. So for example, you could choose a shape. For this instance we'll do a square, and then we'll fill the square with white. And because white on a layer mask reveals, there we go, we've now got a square, a cloud. In the same way, we can use the gradient tool. As long as we're going for a foreground colour of white on our layer mask, we can drag a gradient down, and there we go, we have a gradient of clouds. And as you can see, this has all been done non-destructively. To actually see what the layer mask you've created, all we have to do is go over to the layer mask and hover over it, hold Alt again and click on the layer mask. And now your picture has been transformed to what the layer mask is showing. So this is a way that you can actually review the layer mask and make any fine changes. So for example, say if this transition is a little bit too weak, you can go in with the gradient tool and tighten it up a little bit, like so. Or we can get the brush tool, go in and make some fine adjustments. And because this is the layer mask, any main changes that we do here are effective over here. But if we hit Alt again and click on the layer mask again, we are now back to viewing the layer mask in its invisible form over the top of the image. And again, we can go and make some changes that way. So there we have a brief introduction to layer masks and how they can be used non-destructively to hide or reveal the contents of a layer. In this example, we were replacing the sky with some cloudy sky. Let's now have a look at layers or layer masks when we're applying adjustment layers. So when we use adjustment layers, as we'll see in a second, any adjustment layer that you do automatically comes with a reveal all layer mask. So say for example in this picture of this Lamborghini here, I think this top of the image is a little bit too bright, or I want to darken it down a touch. If we go down to our adjustment layers and we'll click curves, let's just darken that down slightly. As you can see, the curve layer by default has come with a reveal all layer mask. Now the simple way, if you don't want this to be a reveal all layer mask and you want to change it to a hide all layer mask, if you do Command I to invert the layer mask, as you can see now it's gone to a black hide all layer mask. And just as before, with this hide all layer mask we can then get a brush tool or a gradient tool or any other tool you like, and then we can make some adjustments to the layer mask to show through selective parts of the adjustment layer. So for example, as I wanted to make this a little bit darker, we'll grab a gradient, we'll drag it down, and there we go. I know that the effect is not that much, but for example's sake, let's go to the layer mask, and there we have our gradient. And so everything that's white for the adjustment layer is showing through, and everything that's dark on the adjustment layer is not being shown. So let's go back. So hold Alt again, click on the layer mask, and there we go. And once again, to disable the layer mask, to see what changes you've been doing, you can hold Shift and click on the layer mask. Now this means, with the cross going through it, this layer mask is disabled so that you're seeing the full adjustment layer is visible. This is why the image has gone slightly darker. And then hold Shift again, click again, and we're back to only showing the proportion of the layer mask that we've put in white there, which is the top layer here. So there we go. That is the basics of layer masks. Layer masks are a very powerful tool within Photoshop and are not to be overlooked when editing your images, because they are a brilliant way of working non-destructively when you're, say, combining two images or working with adjustment layers. Everything you do with a layer mask is non-destructive. So there we go. That was a very quick introduction to layer masks and their basic functions. So let's just run over the basics again. Layer masks are a powerful non-destructive tool within Photoshop to edit layers or adjustment layers to make the whole layer or parts of the layer visible or hidden. Now just remember, anything that is white on a layer mask will reveal the layer below. Anything that's black on a layer mask will hide the layer. To view the layer mask that you've just created, hold Alt and click on the layer mask. To disable the layer mask, hold Shift and click on the layer mask. And there we go. A very quick basic introduction to the world of layer masks within Photoshop. These are not to be underestimated. These are a very powerful tool and they should always be used when editing photos and using layers. So I hope you found this brief introduction to layer masks helpful, and come back to the channel for more videos on the beginner's guide to Photoshop. As always, leave any comments or suggestions below for new episodes on this series, or just any general comments on the video. I would always like to hear your feedback. As always, thank you for watching this video. I've been Michael, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.